Hello and welcome to Transform Tuesday. I'm Dave McCormick, VP of Product Management here at Alpha Software, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Sarah Mitchell, our Director of Customer Success. So today on Transform Tuesday, we are going to be talking about the 5S method, also known as Lean 5S, and it has to do with the 5S audit form that's built into Alpha Transform. Now, 5S is a methodology that started in Japan in manufacturing. Its point is to keep things organized and safe and in order and basically running efficiently. So this is true in manufacturing plants, but it's also true and is being used also in healthcare and really any place that you've got a physical location in which some sort of process is carried out. Now, there's a lot to read up about 5S methodology, but it's actually a very simple thing to follow. It just involves basically walking around the shop floor or the facility or the hospital or whatever, and with a form in your hand and making notes about what you see in 5 different categories. What I like about the sample form that is included, though, is that it has the ability that it has a sort of a custom chart type up at the top, which you don't often see in a form. So today we're going to be talking about using the 5S form, and we're going to talk about how it was put together. So let me give you an example of actually what I was talking about when it comes to that chart. I'm going to go ahead and mirror my phone here, and it should be mirroring here in just a second. There it is. All right, so here we're taking a look at the 5S audit form. I'll show you how to get to this form in just a minute. But when you do have the form in your account and you open it up on your phone, like I've done here, you start out with this graph area up here at the top. You'll see it's set to 0%, and there's a counter that could bring it all the way up to 100%. And here you'll see the 5 different categories, the 5S's of 5S, if you will. And what you do when you're filling out this form is you'll tap on one of these, like I'm about to tap the sort tab here with my finger. And then I walk around the floor and I say, okay, is there unneeded equipment, tools, or furniture? And I really have 3 questions, and this is going to follow through all of the S's and through all of the questions in each of the S's. And none is typically the score that you want, so I could say none. And are there unneeded items on the walls or bulletin board? Maybe we'll say there's some. Items present in the walkways, let's say no. Unneeded inventory, let's say there's some. And safety hazards, let's say there's none. So now I've filled this out and it's given me a score that it's calculated up here as an 8. So that's part of the score. I'm going to go ahead and click this back button right here. And you'll see that I've now up to 16% on my compliance score for my 5S audit. Now, as I go through to the other ones, let's say I set them just haphazard. I'm going to go back to that one and then we'll go to shine. None, 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 many. Okay, standardize. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And as you'll see, as I go along, my score keeps increasing. And not only that, but the colors start increasing, changing as well. So let's go ahead to this last one. We're going to set it to none, none, none. Let's see if we can bump up our score here a bit. And now it's set to 74%. You'll see they've got some green boxes. Now we're getting into the range that we would like. So I'm not going to go much into how 5S works and stuff like that. There's plenty of things that are for lean manufacturing and efficient operations that you can read about separately. But what I will talk about is how this form was put together. Because as you may have noticed, if you played with Transform before, there isn't actually a control like that as one of your choices. I mean, these are different pages. That's easy to set up, and these are just different fields. But how in the world did we get this? And the way we did this was we started to use the Transform programming language. And that basically lets you do anything you want in Transform. So in this case, we've just used it to build a certain style of graph. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to stop mirroring my phone. Oops. There we go. Stop. And we'll move on to the live demo section. So I should have Safari here open. Great. And I'll open that up full screen. Now, you can find the 5S audit form yourself in your own account. Let's start here at home by going over to Designer, clicking the plus button to add a form type, and then choose Select Template. From there, you'll have a choice of templates from which to select in different industries. And this one we have lumped under manufacturing. So this is the 5S audit form. So you just click this to add this to your account. I'm not going to do that because I already have one in my account. So I'm just going to cancel out of here. Oops, sorry, my screen is hard to read with the GoToWebinar controls over it. Okay, better. So you'll see I already have one here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the 5S audit, and I'll double click on it just first to show you the different fields. As I showed you before, there are pages in there, one for sort, one for straighten, shine, standardize, and so on. And in each of those, it was just a field, which was a buttonless type of field. If you remember, it was some, many, and none were the options there. So I'll click there to show you. And each of those actually had a numeric value that was assigned to them. So while the user chose none, for example, the system knows to enter in the number 2, or the number 1, or the number 0. And those are used later on when performing calculations. Now, the part that's of interest today is this little compliance score area up here. I'm going to click on it, and I want to remind you that when you click on something here in preview, it actually selects the corresponding control over here on the left in the commands window. So when I clicked here to see what's in this compliance score, you'll see all it is an HTML block. And in that HTML block, we put in curly brace at show meter, open paren, close curly brace. And the reason for that is that means I want you to run a function, and this happens to be a custom function called show meter. And whatever the result is, that's the HTML that I'm going to want to display. As you can see, it's already displayed some of that HTML there automatically, even though it doesn't yet have a score here in the preview window. So now I'm going to go back and we're going to take a look and see the TPL, how that was built. Because it's not as hard as you would think. I'm going to go down into Edit Custom Code. And here we are in the code editor. And if you recall, one of the blocks was this HTML show meter thing up at the top. I'm going to go into the blocks mode to show you how that was put together. So I'm going to choose display score. And this is actually created in two parts. So this first part, actually, let me say show meter. Nope, let me find it. This is the one I'm looking for, display bar. Display bar is the thing that will actually create an SVG icon. If you know about SVG icons or scalable vector graphics, they are, you can use them in HTML. They are scalable, so whatever size you set them to, they'll remain at that resolution without becoming rasterized or pixelated. And they're built using a fairly simple language. So if you want to read through this here, I'm going to try to make this a little bigger. I'm going to show you what they did. And I bet you'll be able to figure it out and reverse engineer this one. So let me just hit plus. I think I can make it a little bigger. I'm going to stretch this out. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way. And if you'll see, basically, it's a selection of if statements. So if the total score is greater than 0, then it creates a box that looks like this one. If it's greater than 10, in addition to that box, it creates another box, and on and on and on it goes with these if statements. If it's 40, you're going to fill it in with yellow. If it's 60, you're going to fill it in with green or light green. If it's 80 or more, you're going to fill it in with dark green, and so on. So that's how this display bar was put together. It was put together using basically just using SVG icons. Now, for those of you who attended our conference last October, you may have seen a much more advanced example in which we actually, Greg Bowling here, actually created a very clever SVG icon implementation on which he recreated the programming language logo, just to show you how far it can go. But I just wanted to show you this technique here to show you that you can, in fact, create using SVG these types of graphs. All right, so let me go ahead and shrink my browser back down to the correct size. And that's kind of what I wanted to cover today for 5S, but there is something else I'd like to talk about today. And it looks like, I'm guessing on Thursday, our beta version of Alpha Transform is going to become a full production version. If you'd like to, a few more days if you'd like a day or two to still play with it, if you haven't gotten a chance, take a look in your email box. If you're an account holder, we've sent you an email with instructions on how to do beta testing if you would like to participate. But it looks like we've actually come to the end of that. We're pretty much working, waiting on the Apple Store and the Android Store. So like I said, probably Thursday it'll come out. So what's cool about this new version? Well, probably the coolest thing about the new version is the ability to fill in forms, not just using the mobile app, but also using using a web browser as well. So to do that, let me switch over to the beta account. Okay. To do that, I want to show you how that works. Not now, thank you. Okay, so here I am in my beta account, and this will become what the real account is like. And what I needed to do in order to use this online filler, which I'll show you in a minute, is I went over to permissions. And in permissions, under roles, I created a new role by clicking plus, and I called it browser user, all lowercase. This is a new permission because we didn't know out of the bat which of your users should be given permission to use the online form filler. So this is an extra layer of permissions. Once you set this to browser user, the system knows that whoever is given this role is allowed to use the online form filler, which we call the web filler. Once that's set up in roles, you're going to go back to the Home tab, and you're going to go under Manage User Roles. And as you'll see, I don't have permission for this action. What have I done in my beta account? Something bad. Oh no. All right. I would go into Manage User Roles and select me, and then among available roles, I would select the browser user as the user to use. Now I'm pretty sure I am actually set up to use that browser user role. So if you just give me a
Hey,
second,
Dave.
I'm gonna yes.
You need to revalidate your login. It has expired.
Oh, I'm in the demo.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah, it's a
much.
misleading message, but
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
happened.
All right, that's it. I thought I had done something really dumb, like decided not to make myself the administrator or anything, which does happen. All right. That's my password. It is. Thank you, Sarah. All right, let's go into manage user roles. Here we go. Thank you. And as you'll see, I have made Sarah, for example, I have given her the ability to be a browser user. In other words, fill in the web, use the web form filler. I don't know if I gave myself that same one. Yeah, I did give myself that same permission. Cool. All right, hang on a second while I bring up the browser filler, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, just grabbing my notes here with the URL for the beta version. And it is right, oops, it's right here. Copy this. Copy, actually, I'm gonna put this right into the chat window because for those of you with beta access, which is pretty much all of you on the call today, here is the URL that you'll use to log in. So I'm gonna go back into Safari, go back to showing my screen. We're going to paste them or go to the browser filler. Give this a minute to load. I didn't literally mean a minute. I should have said give it a few seconds to load. All right, here we go. And looks like I'm already logged in. So as you can see, I'm right here in a browser filler, and I don't know if I need to refresh login on this one or not. So I'm gonna confirm login. And as you'll see, this looks an awful lot like what the mobile form looks like, except I'm running it here on a browser. So I can add in all kinds of things. I can say, I can add a new blank form. And let's say I wanted to do, if you remember, I did a delivery form. I don't know why that would make sense to do on a desktop. It wouldn't. But I just want to show you a couple of cool things that you can do. I think this still works. Yep, you can still sign, which is cool, even though you're online. And you can also use pictures. And what's cool about that is we built in this ability for you to choose the webcams that you have built in. You can capture a screenshot or show the camera. No, I'll go ahead and show the camera. So it should show up here. Hey everyone, it's me. All right, and just tap to dismiss, and I'm going to go ahead and say take photo. Geez, oops, I look so serious. Wow. Take that one again. That's better. All right, and I'm done. Use this photo, and it became part of the thing. Now we don't currently have the ability to do barcode scanning. So if you do have a barcode scan field, and let's see, did I have one in here? I don't think I did, but if you had a barcode scanned field, what it will do is it will tell you, hey, we don't have barcode scanning, but you can type in the number that's on the barcode, so that's still possible. We're looking to add barcode scanning actually quite soon to our online filler, as well as the ability to do lookups from an online database, which is something you can currently only do still with the mobile version of Alpha Transform. So that's what I wanted to cover today. And I was wondering if there are any questions. Let me take a look in the questions box of the GoToWebinar control panel. It doesn't look like there is. So hey, thanks everyone for joining me. Thank you very much, Sarah. And we hope to see you next week at our next Transform Tuesday. Until then, take care and stay well. Bye-bye.